We're back, Andy.
Gary,
What's going on?
where are you?
I'm in my studio. My thing.
You're getting awfully professional. Gary, have you been chucked out the house? You've got a studio now.
I call it the Bug Hut. It's just my new residence for work and play.
Looking very fancy, Gary. I like your setup there, and you've got some swanky pictures on the wall, and you've got some cool lighting going on. You're taking this a bit seriously, Gary.
Well, we are getting mentioned in dispatches of getting special shows, and we're not going to never ever desert our audience and our listener and our watcher and Paisley and our local team, our local crew. Never ever.
No, we'll not do that.
But business dictating that I need to find somewhere to do a bit of work from home. So this is what that is. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Paisley Community Chat Show. It's great to see you all here. Thanks everyone for tuning in. And it's actually quite interesting, Andy, and humbling to know that we've got an audience, never mind a loyal audience. It's great to know there's people watching.
Absolutely, Gary, and we know that some tune in regularly. We see all the regular visitors. Terry was on with us last week. It's great, and we've got the star staff. Heather, it's Wednesday night. I know you were having a wee bit of trouble with that on Twitter earlier on. It's Wednesday night, Heather. All right.
And there's Elizabeth tuning in again from Chicago, the Windy City. Welcome again, Elizabeth. Good to see you here.
Broadcasting far and wide. We're in Chicago. I think we've got viewers in New York, and some as far afield as Glenburn. I understand, Gary, as well.
And my neighbour's watching. Evening, Jenny. Hiya.
She's just looking out the back window, Gary, and she can see it.
I know. In fact, this is it.
Give her a wave.
So it's great to be back on the show. It's great fun, and as we've said all the time, Andy, the guests make our show. It's our show would be nothing without the people who come on it, and we've got a rich seam. We've had a rich seam, Andy, of guests, haven't we? Just
we've. I was thinking about this today. How many guests have we had on this year? It's been fantastic.
Andy, we were chatting the other day about the period between Christmas and New Year.
Yes,
we need to have a retrospective best of.
A look back.
A look back. Everybody does it. We never look back. So we'll have. We'll probably need to have Tom on. We'll probably need to have the Provost on. They're on nearly every week now. We'll get some stats. We'll look back. We'll see who's been on the show. Some of our favourite bits. Maybe get some of the audience on. Gives us something to look forward to in between Christmas and New Year.
Sounds absolutely fantastic. We'll need to do a fair bit of editing on that one. I'm thinking more just cutting out the swear words from Piero.
I think Piero, particularly on his Twitter, but Piero's Twitter account is the business.
Is the business. Well, listen, Gary, it's the 25th of November.
Yeah, hold on.
Oh,
I had to do that. Okay, my new setup is
maybe some teething problems in the man shed, Gary. But yeah, 25th of November. That means it's a month to Christmas, Gary.
Oh, exactly a month. It's as if we've timed this to have a special countdown to Christmas show. This is in no way me being a humbug. It's in no way a Christmas show, Andy.
No way a Christmas show, but we might have a Christmas theme running through it. But before we get on to some of the things that we're going to be talking about later on in the show, there's been quite a few things happening this week. Some have caught your eye, Gary, and a couple of things caught my eye as well, Gary.
But what's caught your eye, Andy? Come on, spill the beans.
Spill the beans. Let me see if I uploaded the image. Well, this caught my eye, Gary.
That caught my eye, Andy. I forgot that caught my eye.
That forgot. So, folks, in case you hadn't heard, if you've not been on Facebook or Twitter or other forms of social media, the big news in Paisley is that our Paisley Centre has been acquired, apparently as part of a multi-million pound deal. Gary, the Paisley Centre has been acquired.
That's what it says there, Andy. That's really interesting.
It does.
And Billy, straight to the point. High Street stays pedestrianised. That should have been the headline.
Well, that's an interesting point from Billy there in terms of the High Street staying pedestrianised, and that good question of whether Paisley should be the High Street should be opened back up again. That's maybe a topic that we'll come to later on. Maybe not in this show, but maybe at another point. But isn't that good news for Paisley, Gary, that the Paisley Centre has been acquired, and the purchasers, Gary, were actually in touch with ourselves at Paisley Community Trust because they are keen to ensure that if they're acquiring in the town, that they take into consideration what the community is looking for and needing, haven't they?
Yeah, we've been speaking to them a couple of times. They contacted us just to get a sense of what Paisley was about, and it's like phoning your mate up. You're going to buy his mate's motor. Going to tell us a wee bit about that motor. Is it worth buying? And of course, we said, aye.
Yeah.
And it was and I was encouraged by speaking to them. Multi-million pound deal. Mentioned we're not giving away any secrets, Andy. It's mentioned in the press release about the vision, the Paisley 2030 vision. Paisley is open. You've got it there, eh?
Oh, it's this one here, Gary.
Oh, God, just about. Yeah, so the Paisley is open vision for Paisley Town Centre 2030. And we've endorsed that vision. We've articulated it to the new owners of the Paisley Centre and expressed everyone's enthusiasm for regenerating our wonderful town.
Yeah,
so fingers crossed.
It's a great move, Gary, absolutely. And, I think we take a lot of comfort that the message from the folk that have bought it is it's about investment for the long term in Paisley. That vision document has caught a lot of folks' eyes, and the opportunity to do something special in the town is there. Now, what that will develop into, the article in the Paisley Express mentioned mixed use, so converting some over time to residential. Hold on a second, Gary, I'm getting my...
Was it 7 minutes past? Oh, no, a minute late with your tea, Andy?
Yeah, hold on a wee second just to get this
there you go.
special mug tonight.
Very good, like that. 4 weeks to go to Christmas, and this is in no way, Andy, is this a Christmas show? I wouldn't be having it.
No, not at all. So that was what caught my good news for Paisley. There was a few folk on Facebook kind of having a wee kind of moan, but it's great news. It's progress.
That's unusual.
Let's get behind it, folks.
imagine the social media going wonky. Anyway, something that caught my eye with the Paisley theme, Andy, and I think tonight's chat show with the Christmas theme, it's not about shaking Stevens tonight. It's not about all of that nicey Christmas stuff. We want to shine a light on other aspects of Christmas, and one thing that caught my eye, Andy, was the St Mirren and Star Project Essentials. Goodness sake, Andy, read my mind.
Slick.
So really important that those of us who can and want to help others actually do and find a way to do it. So you're always thinking, how can I help? How can we contribute? Here's a direct way of contributing to St Mirren FC Charitable Foundation and the Star Project. Any of these items, go to Tesco, buy a bag of them, email foundation@stmirren.com, and I think they'll come and pick them up.
They'll maybe even come and pick them up, Gary, or I'm guessing they'll have a drop-off point.
Yeah, so maybe the Star staff will let us know in the comments, Andy, what the deal is. But if you want to contribute to those who may be better or worse off than yourself, there's a very direct way of doing that.
And those are simple things, Gary. I know if you're out doing the shopping, to put an extra, bottle of diluting juice in, or some, extra tea bags or coffee or some toiletries, to make up an extra bag particularly over the next few weeks. It's not difficult, and it's not expensive either. And if you're able to do that, it's going to really make a difference to someone. It's fantastic, Gary.
Yeah, absolutely, Andy. And of course, Lauren's coming up a wee bit later on, and there's other ways that we can all contribute, with Lauren coming on from Renfrewshire Christmas Toy Bank, which is another way that we can all help. Got me going now, Andy.
Star staff in touch already. An exciting announcement coming up for Christmas next week that people can get involved with. So good to hear that. And an update: people can drop off the Star Project between Tuesday and Friday, 9 to 5. So brilliant. Listen, do what you can, folks. It'll go to really helping people out in our community.
Yeah. And people that don't know where the Star Project actually is, go down Love Street, past where the wee barrel used to be, turn right, and it's just in there on the right-hand side. So not difficult to find. Bro,
fantastic.
What else has caught your eye, Andy? Is it your turn to have your eye caught?
I only had one eye caught this week, Gary.
I see.
So you're up next with your lockdown notice.
Well, I thought this was quite interesting, and again, there's real potential here that if people are struggling for Christmas presents and want to buy for their family, or maybe want to buy for others, here's something that they can do. So St Mirren, the shop, I'm not sure if it's got a link on there, Andy.
Can't see it, Gary, but I'm sure someone will pop it up.
Yeah, there's a way of just contacting the St Mirren shop or St Mirren online. Just search for that. There'll be loads of people locally who, I think, waking up on Christmas morning, a nice wee surprise, a scarf, a football top, a pennant, you name it, whatever St Mirren have got in sale down there, buy it. Yeah. Send it to Lauren.
Is that your Christmas list, Gary? Are you fancying a new St Mirren scarf? Is that what you... Have you told Mrs. Kerr about this? I
don't know when I would get to use it, Andy. There's no sign.
Oh, Gary, you've suddenly your volume is adjusted. You're sounding a whole lot clearer. That's
seriously?
Either that or my ears have popped. There's something happening.
Your ears. So you're up a few levels there, Andy. No, so I think helping others, and that's a way to do it. So there's the Star Project list. Email them or drop it into Star Project or buy something online from St Mirren. And the other thing that's caught my eye, Andy.
Go on.
COVID Christmas bubbles.
COVID Christmas bubbles. Go on then, Gary. What's your thought on that?
What you really want to know?
Take the swearing out, Gary.
I don't understand how a virus one day is lethal, but then you can have a 5-day window, and it's okay to everybody meet and hug and drink out the same tumblers and all that sort of stuff. I think it's bizarre.
All that stuff. You're quite right, Gary. The virus is, by all accounts, not going to be taking Christmas off.
No.
But I guess if you're government, it's a tough one, because if you lock everybody down and they can't get out, then there's going to be uproar. But you give them a little bit of leeway and hope there's common sense prevails. That might be a happy medium, but there's no doubt, Gary, COVID's not taking Christmas off, folks. So continuation of being careful and following the guidelines that we've all been given. We know that this Christmas is a write-off from a social point of view. So maybe we just need to focus on that, Gary.
Yeah, I don't want to labour the point, but it's either lethal or it isn't, Andy. All other denominations have had to give up their celebrations, and so should we, in my opinion. But there you go.
Yeah,
I'm not the opinion that counts, and we'll be staying safe and just keeping myself with myself.
Absolutely. I'm just going to hibernate away with a couple of selection boxes and a few box sets, and that'll be me, Gary.
Absolutely. And researching for a retrospective.
I'm not going to be having any of those spangles, though. I hope they still don't put them in selection boxes.
No, I'm looking for a splicer. Anyway, so tonight is not a Christmas show, Andy. It's a countdown to Christmas.
Countdown to Christmas show spec. But is it okay for me to have my mug, Gary? It's a kind of Christmassy one.
That's absolutely fine, Andy. You're counting down to Christmas, same as everyone else. It's slightly different Christmas, and we've got some brilliant guests on tonight, so I think it's time we cracked the whip on the keeping this show in line. Keep the show in line. So the guest tonight is a relatively planned, extended show. We will run on, but we know we're running on tonight. Usually we think, oh, dear God, we're running on. But we know we're running on tonight. So it's a really special countdown to Christmas show. And our guests, we want to start with the first guest, Andy, and just go, come on.
Come on, Stephen McClellan from Ramage. Stephen, how are you, sir?
I'm fine, thanks, guys. How are you?
Good evening, Stephen. Great. Good to see you on the show. Thanks for coming on.
That's not at all. I'm delighted.
Our Christmas countdown.
I'm just listening to what's coming. I'm hoping to get some presents out of this.
Well, we get a few ideas already tonight, Stephen. But thanks so much for joining us, Stephen. As we say, it's always important for this show to shine a spotlight on some of the fantastic activity that's going on within Paisley and Renfrewshire, and particularly some of the causes that are out there that perhaps people maybe don't know about, but nevertheless are so important. So it'd be great, Stephen, just to give us an overview and who you are, your organisation, and what it does, Stephen.
No bother. Thanks very much for having the opportunity to do that. I'm the Chief Executive of RAMH, which is Recovery Across Mental Health. It used to be Renfrewshire Association for Mental Health until a few years ago. And we've been around, I guess, for about 30 years, supporting people who have a mental illness in the community, in Renfrewshire and into East Renfrewshire and a wee bit into North Ayrshire. And basically, we've grown. I was the first person employed in 1990 to set it up, I suppose, on the back of some sterling work that volunteers had done. And the people that set it up did it for three reasons. They were either professionals who worked in mental health who thought, there's a different way of doing this. It doesn't necessarily all need to be hospital related. Another next group were carers. They looked after their husbands, sons, wives, mothers. They thought there's a different way of doing this. People don't need to be in hospital. And the third group were people who got services. They got support, patients, service users, clients, whatever term you want, who thought, okay, I get unwell from time to time, but I know I don't need to be in hospital and I can cope happily in the community with a bit of support. So that was our job, was to try and begin to provide support. And we now do that, I guess, 24 hours a day, every day of the year, in and around Renfrewshire and East Renfrewshire. And I think last year we had directly supported just over 9,000 people locally. And I don't mean to this to be, I want to follow on your guys' kind of good pattern of being positive. This isn't about doom and gloom. This is about positivity and hope and recovery. Because that's in the name, Recovery Across Mental Health. We are here to help people recover. Mental illness, it's not a terminal condition. People do and will and can recover from mental illness. And it's our job just to help nudge people in the direction they want to go to make that happen.
Yeah, Stephen, that's interesting to know. I didn't know it was 30 years old.
I'm only 28 as well.
Well, I was going to say, straight for school. It's interesting to know that, and you must have seen some changes over the years, in particular the more recent impact of COVID. There must have been maybe a spike or a change. Has it been noticeable?
Yes, it has. It has. I mean, that's what, 8 months or so now we've been in it. And just go back very, very slightly, there had been a real positive acceptance in many ways of mental illness in the last few years. The last 5 years, I've been involved in mental health since I was a boy. So I've been doing it now 44 years as a nurse and whatnot. But the last few years, maybe the last 5 years, there's been a greater recognition and acceptance. People have been more inclined to say, do you know what, I've got an issue and I need help. What can you do? But I guess the virus took us all by surprise at the turn of the year. And the consequences of it, and the consequences are still there. It hasn't we've adapted to it in many ways. We've developed things. We're doing things radically different now than we were doing 6-12 months ago. But there is still a demand. I think there's people being furloughed, unemployment, all these things. And they all have an effect. And they all will continue to have an effect for a while. But I think what we're learning is that there are different ways that we get involved now. I mean, this notion that we're on here just now, talking and watching each other, that's a similar way in terms of how we can help people develop strategies to support themselves. A lot of things can be done online. Yes, a human contact, when it happens again properly, will be great, because humanity is about tactile and about, can they just put your hand around somebody's shoulder? But equally, there are lots of opportunities that we can take advantage of now to help people, if you've got a phone or a laptop or an iPad, to begin your own recovery. And I keep wanting to repeat this notion of recovery. People do and will recover.
Yeah, and I think that's such a a positive message, Stephen, in terms of that focus for you, is that it's a journey that people will go on, and that journey will hopefully lead to recovery and to a person returning to good mental health, as opposed to negative or mental illness, Stephen. And but the world is a challenging place right now, obviously with COVID. And I guess also it's particular times of years of the year. I guess it's a little bit seasonal as well. So Christmas can be a happy time for many, but I would imagine it can be a trigger perhaps for folk coping with mental health issues or illnesses.
Aye, absolutely. And I think it ties in. There's been a lot in the press and media and research recently about loneliness.
Yeah.
Christmas is generally a time where people come together and it's happy and it's fun times. But for some people, it's not. I'm not trying to downplay that for a second. And if you're isolated and lonely, it can compound it. And in fact, in many ways, some of the busiest time of the year for us as an organisation is February. We get an awful lot of referrals for people for counselling, for example, that come through by February. And it's probably for some people the consequences of the kind of festive period and things just beginning to kind of catch up, and it kind of reinforces some anxieties or some negativity that people may have. Yeah. So, but we understand that, we accept that, and we try and do what we can. And it's great to see the Star Project here and St Mirren ourselves and numbers of other organisations that are out there. Because what I don't think people necessarily always get is there's a huge range of support out there. But it's sometimes knowing how to get that support. Yeah. If you're, for example, if you become unwell or it just becomes too much, and it's maybe the first time you've actually got to go to somebody and say, help. Yeah. If you've never done that before, where do you ask? If you don't know, you don't go. So it's getting information and awareness out there that there are a lot of very positive, very, very skilled, supportive, nurturing, kind organisations out there who are available to help.
That was interesting. You mentioned there touch points and putting your hand up and saying I need help. Where would those natural touch points be in and around Paisley and Renfrewshire?
The first place we'd say is like the hospitals and GPs and the likes. But we're open. We've got I'll just give some information. We've got a crisis line that's open every day of the year. 9 o'clock in the morning till 8 o'clock at night and 5 at weekends. I can give you numbers and stuff later if you want that. So that's if somebody's really desperately needs somebody to talk to. You don't need a referral. You don't need permission. You just pick up the phone and phone. There's another kind of maybe a step back from that, a kind of slightly lower key. It's a helpline. And you were asking about COVID. This is a helpline that's been set up explicitly on the back of COVID to help compensate people who are feeling just that emotionally drained. Just they want somebody to talk to. They've maybe got some challenges about it could be money, it could be grief, it could be bereavement, it could be just a general despondency. And that's another helpline, a Here For You helpline, which we've set up. And both that and the crisis line are both free phone numbers. If you want the numbers, I can give them to you. Or certainly, if you go onto the RAMH website,
Andy, if I know Andy, he'll be copying them right now, and they'll appear like magic on the bottom of the screen.
I hope I've got the right one here, but is that the correct one?
Well done. I'm very impressed.
So that's good to know that there's a touch point there. And for our loyal listeners on Paisley FM, call First Crisis on free phone 0800 221 8929 or standard rate 0141 848 9090. How about that, Andy? Is a variation?
Well, that was good, Gary. That was incredibly slick and professional of you, Gary.
Just remember that we're on tomorrow evening on Paisley FM.
Yeah, we forgot about that. Actually, I was listening to Paisley FM, and we were on the Thursday night, which was a bit weird, Gary. It was odd hearing the show. Stephen, that's another channel. We're delighted to be sort of partnering with Paisley FM to be able to bring the chat show out to a new audience. So, that's why it is so important to shine a light on organisations like your own within the community, because it can go out to such a large audience, so that if someone is struggling, or if they've got a relation or a family member who's struggling, at least they know that they can go out to an organisation that's there to help. I'm going to play a short video that you've sent through to us, Stephen. So we'll play that, and we'll be back in just a moment.
That's a cracking wee video, that, Stephen. And Andy talking there about Paisley FM and the important messages on related to mental health and partnering. We know that you've got a partnership with Paisley FM as well, Stephen, and of course the Christmas message will be strong, and the reason that you're partnering with them is in relation to Christmas.
Indeed. Some of my colleagues spoke to your colleagues at FM to see, well, how could we get the information out there, get a wide coverage of information to as many people as possible. And we come up with a less than novel but interesting idea of an advent calendar. So it's a mental health advent calendar, and each day behind the door is a different aspect of support in the Renfrewshire. So it's not just us. I mean, clearly we're not the be-all and end-all at all. So it's colleagues like the STAR Project, like St Mirren Pashadu for minority ethnic communities, University of Western Scotland, Women's Aid, St Vincent's Hospice. So there's a whole range. Each day will bring a different dimension to the support that's out there. And as we kind of get towards the Christmas day itself, the stories will become increasingly more positive. So it'll be people who have had some aspect of mental illness but have recovered, and they want to share their stories. They want people to know that they were in a bad place perhaps at one time, but they've managed to work their way through it, and they're there to give that story, that experience and that hope to other people who are maybe not quite there yet. But it's about hope, it's about recovery.
Yeah. And that, journey for yourself and your organisation and your colleagues, when you see someone going through that and recovering, getting to that point, that must be fairly rewarding for everyone involved, Stephen.
I guess without being schmaltzy about it, it's why you do the job. It's why you get into the job, is to help people feel better about themselves.
Yeah.
And that when somebody does that, when somebody has moved through these various phases of their life and has gone from being pretty down in some way or other to being positive, making a success, making moves towards the recovering former lives or moving beyond what they were formerly, then it's you can't put words on it and you can't buy it. It's just how it is.
That's a great message, Stephen. If there's something you want to finish on as a message to Paisley Community Chat Show, what would that message be?
It's about being positive. It's about holding out hope for recovery, holding out hope for better times, and kindness. That we were kind of promoting this notion of kindness. I think sometimes we all get a wee bit too caught up in ourselves and too engrossed in work, life, whatever's going on round about us, and you forget maybe to take that step back and just reflect on how you can help somebody else. What your colleagues were talking about food parcels and boxes, kindness parcels, whatever you want to call them. It's just giving to somebody else, because by giving something, you feel better than yourself as well. So again, kind of slightly off the tack, but again, it's about positivity, recovery, and we will get through this.
Excellent, very positive message there, Stephen. We've got some questions coming in that we'll probably just actually make this the last question before we go into the next segment of the show, because it is quite an important question from Annette there. Do you need volunteers, and if so, how can people help, I guess? Yes,
volunteers are a huge part of what we do. In various, different people bring different skills, from helping out in our shop, the old mother care shop in Paisley. We have that, to be counsellors and just generally helping. So if you phone our main line, 0141 848 90. Sorry, that's the wrong number. Forget that. I've got too many numbers in my head. 0141 847 8900. And just asking, somebody will get back in touch.
No problem.
So the secret to volunteering is to volunteer.
Basically, if you don't ask, you don't get. So just come forward, and if we're not the right people for you, then we know a man that can.
Yeah, that's great, Stephen. That's a fantastic message of hope. Let's hang on to that. Really encouraged by what you've been saying. Let's hope we can all support each other through this next period. And stay with us, Stephen, for this next part. We've got Tom Urie coming on, and it's really an interesting segue. Actually, Tom's not just coming on to sing a non-Christmas song. He's not doing that, but he's also coming on to talk about his own mental health podcast.
Yeah, so we're going to do a swap. We're going to swap a Stephen out for a Tom. Stephen, thank you so much indeed, sir.
No worries. Thank you.
Leave Stephen on, Andy. Leave him on.
Oh, you want Stephen on? Okay, no
leave
worries.
There we go.
Tom,
good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
Great, Tom. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm okay. Hi, Stephen. Nice to meet you, mate.
Hi there. How are you?
I'm good. Yeah, great stuff you're doing. That sounds fantastic.
You're letting the side down here. You're far too hirsute. You've got far too much hair. The rest of us are all just sitting here like bald cooks.
Look, I need to explain right now. I've got this on because last week I cut my own hair with clippers I got off Amazon. Well, I'll just show you.
Go on then.
It's like Blackadder. Right?
It's all right,
So
Tom.
I've seen worse, Tom.
It's all right.
Well,
it's just hat hair.
It's fine, but I'm just not leaving the house, so it's fine. I mean, it's only the cats that are going to get offended. They don't care.
Yeah.
Well, it's hat hair, Tom. I would say when I was an apprentice, I started as an apprentice, and this is the reason for this. When I was an apprentice in John Brown's in 1981, every single day that you had to wear one of them with a hairnet and all that stuff, and I've blamed the follically challenged look on that.
Right. Oh, well,
although it's probably hereditary, but
and Tom, having Stephen on, talking about the services that he provides, there's a lot of crossover in some of the aspects of your own life and your current activities. Tom, tell us a wee bit about that, please.
Well, I got really ill in the summer with depression and anxiety, and I had it many years ago. And I thought it was gone. I thought I had recovered from it, and I thought that was it. I was immune. And then I think, what Stephen was talking about, what's arisen out of this weird year is that I relapsed with that. So I ended up, one day I woke up and I couldn't open my eyes and I couldn't get out of bed because I was just absolutely stuck. And because I'd been through it before, I realised that it was depression and it was back. And I managed to get to the doctors and then the anxiety kicked in. But I tried to get help in the summer by, through my GP, who gave me some contact details, which I came up against a brick wall with stuff. And what I've kind of felt recently, and Stephen will be able to tell me more about this, is that recently I've felt as if that there's going to be a big tidal wave of people needing help coming. And I'm not sure that the system's in place to help everybody. And that's why people like Stephen and organisations like what Stephen's doing are so important. Yeah. But I've had trouble over the past 2 or 3 weeks being able to get in touch with people. Stephen was one of the people that got back to me. But I just think that we're facing a bit of a panic when it comes to people seeking help. So I don't know. I just felt as if I had to do something. So I'm doing a podcast where my only purpose in this is to get people chatting about it, because I found that the best thing that happened for me in the summer was when I communicated with somebody else and they communicated back. That was better than any kind of medication I could get or whatever. And I think a lot of people this summer and this year might have encountered mental health challenges for the first time in their lives. And the first time you encounter it, you don't know what it is. And that can be completely overwhelming. So I want to shout about it. I want to say, look, and I'm not presenting it from the point of view of, hey, everybody, come and join this. I'm struggling too. I've struggled this year and I'm still not out of the woods when it comes to my mental health. I have bad days. I have okay days. So I'm presenting this from the point of view of, I need this help too. You know, so I think that we need to take it back into our communities and have a look around our own circles, our friends, our family, our neighbours, and to just check up on each other and keep each other afloat. Like what my friend Janie Godley says about putting your emotional life jacket on and keeping your friends and family afloat. Yeah, that's what we're going to have to do in order to support these organisations that are going to be inundated with. February, the perfect example. I think when we come out of this, there's going to be like an astronaut re-entering. I'm going to be like that anyway when I have to go back out and deal with people in the real world. But it just feels as if that there's going to be a lot of people needing help, and we're going to have to take it upon ourselves to do our bit, I think. Does that make sense?
Tom, what's the format for that, and when is it going out?
It's going out on Thursday nights, and it's going out on Thursday nights because normally, for some reason that I can't explain, I'm always stressed on Thursday nights. Thursday night's my night for having this, some folk have got a darts night, or Thursday night's my anxiety night. So I thought, well, pick that. So it's a kind of 40-minute video on YouTube every Thursday night. It's also going to go out on all the audio podcasts, and I'm having a kind of well-known guest every week, and also someone like Stephen every week. So Stephen, well, I'm going to ask you while you're on air if you come on next week and give me a 5-10 minute spiel. Is that all right?
Yeah, I think so. Aye, it should be.
It's pre-recorded, so it can suit whenever time you want.
All right, no worries. Aye, absolutely.
This week I managed to get someone from Chrissy's House, which is a suicide support group, and she was fantastic. And my first guest is Janie Godley, who I think has kept us. I'm not laughing through all this, but has kept us with a kind of being able to there's a valve, we're getting this horrible news every day. We're getting these terrible, terrible things happening every day. And her voiceovers that she's been doing for Nicola, Frank Get the Door, it's just giving us a laugh, So Janie talks quite openly about her mental health issues as well. So she's, the first episode is mainly Janie, and that goes out tomorrow night on YouTube. It's called Swim for Land.
Swim for Land. We'll make sure that we get the details.
Tom, well done in pulling that together, Tom. And great to hijack a guest. It's good to make the intros, and you hijack one of our guests, and that's brilliant.
I'll give you guys 10% of my fee. It's okay. You're fine.
Would you be getting a quarter of Twix then? That's the
Hey, that's the most we've ever had.
Well, no, absolutely. No, Tom, thank you for being so honest with that. And, you know, it is important that, you know, I mean, we get comments coming in terms of, you know, the just being honest and the people that helped. Although Claire has mentioned hats off to you. We know that's a touchy subject this evening with
the hat's staying on, Claire, because it's bouffing. Look, that's a bit Clark Kent though, eh?
Well, true enough. Paul Stewart's still not updated that Facebook picture, Paul.
I know that's quite something, Paul. You look like, what's her name? Kim Woodburn. How clean is your house? There you are.
He was channeling his inner baby Trump there by the looks of things when he was going.
It's Trump, right? Okay.
It's Trump. It's cartoon Trump. That's a really
What's
good.
His actual just Trump.
That's a whole other show, Tom.
Aye, I know.
So in the countdown to Christmas, Tom, great for you to make that connection, and thanks for being so open and honest and telling us about Swim for Land. I hope that's a great success, and I'm sure it will help everyone that tunes in. But of course, you're almost a resident.
Barbara Dixon.
Yeah.
I'm Barbara Dixon, yeah. And now Barbara Dixon. Yeah, what are you wanting tonight? You asked me to do a song I've never done before, and I've just Googled the words. I don't know what it's going to sound like.
Well, hey, listen, anything that you're comfortable, Tom, we're going
Just
to
whatever you're comfortable with, Tom. For me, it's not a Christmas show. It's a countdown to Christmas show.
Right,
so,
okay.
So you can gazump me. We're live.
Right. No, but I'll do what you asked me to do. But if it's mince, just tell me to shut up. Just shut me out.
That's all right, Tom.
I'm warning you in advance, right?
We're going to put you full screen. Off you go.
Right. Okay. Here we go. I'm sitting at my actual real piano, not my keyboard this week, so I don't know how it's going to sound. But I'll start. Okay. Right. All around me are familiar faces, worn out places, worn out faces. Bright and early for the daily races, going nowhere, going nowhere. Their tears are filling up their glasses, no expression, no expression. Hide my head, I wanna drown my sorrow. No tomorrow, no tomorrow. And I find it kind of funny, I find it kind of sad. The dreams in which I'm dying are the best I've ever had. I find it hard to tell you, I find it hard to take. When people run in circles, it's a very, very mad world. Mad world. Children waiting for the day they feel good. Happy birthday, happy birthday. And I feel the way that every child should. Sit and listen, sit and listen. Went to school and I was very nervous. No one knew me, no one knew me. Hello teacher, tell me what's my lesson. Look like through me, look right through me. And I find it kind of funny, I find it kind of sad. The dreams in which I'm dying are the best I've ever had. I find it hard to tell you, I find it hard to take. When people run in circles, it's a very, very mad world. Mad world. Large in your world. Mad world. And I find it hard to tell you, I find it hard to take. The dreams in which I'm dying are the best I've ever had. I've forgotten all the words and my laptop has died. So I'm making up the words and I hope that you don't notice. Mad world. Mad world. Mad world. My laptop that had the words on it died just before the end.
Tom, you done it.
You had the improvisation.
You done it.
There. Yeah.
You done it. Full credit, Tom.
No bother.
And of course, the reason we chose that song as a non-Christmas song is Andy.
Well, it was Christmas #1 in 2003, believe it or not.
That makes me feel ancient.
2003. What was going on in 2003 that became Christmas #1?
It was from Donnie Darko. It was from the movie Donnie Darko.
Yeah, it was indeed. Yeah.
Tom, if that's making you feel old, I've got the original single.
Tears
Paul
for
Fletcher said, "Yeah, makes you want to watch Donnie Darko."
Yeah.
Way back in the day, Tears for Fears. I remember playing it over CB in London.
Oh wow! Side in, 10 for a coffee.
Just to go, listen to this. Nobody's ever heard this before. It's a new track from Tears for Fears. How times have changed.
I know.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, listen, for someone who hasn't played that tune before, and you had the lyrics, you've obviously knew the music in your head. It was absolutely fantastic.
You know what I'm like.
Really great.
You know what I'm like. Good music.
Well done, Tom. And thanks for coming on again, Tom, for that. Our countdown to Christmas, and yourself, Stephen. Thanks very much. Good luck with the guest appearance on Tom's podcast, Stephen. Thanks both.
Thanks very much.
Hang out to the end. We'll see you then.
If you can hang around to the end, that'd be fantastic. But thanks for now, folks. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Oh, fantastic. I mean, it was really, really great to hear the activity that Stephen and his organisation is undertaking. Such an important service. And I think that was, really clear, Gary, when people were commenting, the amount of work that they do within the communities. And then for Tom to come on and be so honest about his struggles and his challenges, but then to be doing something about it, to be a voice, to shine a spotlight in some of the organisations that are out there that are providing support, and to have people, whether it's Janie Godley or the person next door, to have them sharing their stories of their journey. It gives people hope that it is a positive destination. It's all about remission and recovery, and that's really so important.
Absolutely, Andy, and it should be the norm. And Tom's breaking the mold there.
Oh yeah,
he's a great guy. I follow him on Facebook, and his music videos is part of his therapy. He turns to keep. We all know that if you're busy, if you keep busy, you get something on your mind, and you keep busy, and you have a distraction. And Tom's distraction is music. Mine is as well. Put a record on and I feel better.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And folk will find different therapies in different ways. And what he also said was that talking to people, communicating, speaking to other people, that was something that helped him, and I guess that's the tough thing about COVID, is that social interaction that we all need as humans has been curtailed. So, it's great to see folk coming on to the chat show tonight. Us having the conversation perhaps on your behalf, but please, you take part so well in the social media comments. It's great to see it. So a brilliant start to the show already, Gary.
And I think those tuning in now can see that this is not a typical Christmas show. It's a slight touch towards the impact that Christmas may have in the lead up to Christmas. And our next guest is the exact same, Andy. It's how we can help other people that are less fortunate than ourselves.
Yep.
So it's about recognising that and shining a light on it. Lauren's been on the show before. She came on the show as a surprise guest during the Provost Thank You Week, if you remember, Andy.
Yeah.
But to give Lauren full billing, Lauren's coming on the show right now from the Renfrewshire Christmas Joy Bank.
I'm just checking to make sure she's got her fire lit, Gary. She was starting her fire a moment ago, so the fire is working.
It's on.
Lauren, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me on your Christmas show.
Oh,
that's all right, Lauren. It's not our Christmas show; it's our countdown to Christmas show. Yeah. I would never ever sanction a Christmas show.
No, Gary's far too bah humbug for that. Now, Lauren, we can see you've got a beautiful fire going in the background, which looks lovely. It looks like a lot of hard work to maintain that one. You get your Christmas tree up as well, so great to see that. So fantastic. But I'm going to ask one thing, Lauren, and I don't know if this is possible or not. Is it possible that are you on your phone or your iPad?
My iPad, if I turn it the other way, the camera cuts. It's because the iPad stand, it won't go the other way.
It won't go. Oh, well, listen, it's fine.
Sorry, I tried earlier.
We just wanted your fire and your Christmas tree and yourself and sort of full frame, but looking good regardless. So welcome back onto the show, Lauren.
No, thanks for having me. Thank you.
It's a pleasure, Lauren. We've been following what you've been doing on social media, and your shout out to everyone, and we want to give that extra boost to what you're doing, and to have everyone that tunes in on our show to have another reason, another place that they can help. So just to start off with, Lauren, how's the Christmas toy bank going this year so far?
It's going really, really well. I wasn't sure how it was going to go this year with COVID, and we've had drop-off points shut. But to be honest, we've just adapted. We've got more drop-off points so that when we went in Tier 4, people could go to more local shops to donate. And we've also created an Amazon wish list as well, and that's been a real saviour for us. It's not something I particularly wanted to do, and I wasn't sure if it was going to work. But you know what? It's been fantastic, and it's definitely given people an alternative way to donate. So yeah, the Amazon wish list and the PayPal have just gone great. So yeah, thank you everyone who's donated so far.
So off to a good success, and you're absolutely right to point out the COVID has put in a strain across a lot of families, so it's going to create more need, but perhaps it might reduce the charity. But what we're seeing from Paisley and Renfrewshire residents is the charity is absolutely there, Lauren.
Oh, definitely. I mean, people are, like I said, they're donating, the other ways, and equally from your first point of view, the need is much higher. So because of that, we've had to adapt. In the unit, we usually have maybe 8 volunteers. Now we only have 2, 3 at the most. So, we're just adapting. Everything that we do has been adapted this year. But yeah, that's what we're finding is, furlough, as much as that can be a great scheme, if 2 parents, for instance, are on that, that's a household down 40% of their income, which is massive for families. Yeah. So that is where we are finding a lot of our referrals coming from. It's people who've either been made redundant or who have both been affected by furlough. And
a referral for you, Lauren, is people who need help. Is that the case?
Yeah. So a referral, a referral would be one singular child. That's what we talk about when we mean a referral. We do get families referred, but then we would count each child as an individual, and we make them up a gift pack. So in a gift pack, we try and give a selection box, a book, an item of arts and crafts, an item of clothing, whether that be pyjamas, scarves, hat, a big toy, and a couple of wee toys. So they're getting a good mix. And then what we're doing is boxing everything up. So for instance, the STAR project, we're doing their referrals over the next few days. Heather and the team will receive that in boxes. They go through them and they make up their own individual gift packs. It just means that when everything's boxed up, it keeps it all safe, keeps the germs away, and it quarantines for 3 days. So that's how we're working everything. And then Heather and her staff, just using STAR, again as an example, they know their families really well. They know what the kids like. So it's quite nice that they're able to go through and give it that personal touch as well.
Yeah. And in terms of kind of just recapping on some of the key points then, so where can people drop off? Is there anything specific that that you have a need for? And in terms of donations, financial donations, as well as gifts themselves. So just recap on some of those points, Lauren, for all of us.
So you can still drop off in Tesco's. We've got 3 Tesco's. We've got East Lane in Paisley, we've got Tesco in Renfrew, and Tesco in Linwood. We've got Morrison's on Fallside Road and Morrison's at Anchor Mills. So they are the ones that, to be honest, have been the busiest and that we would try and encourage people to use at the moment in Tier 4, because obviously trying to just go out when it's essential. Apart from that, in Paisley, we've got Comic Crazy Cafe, we've got Brew Cafe, and we've got Alan's Snack Bar, the Chippy. They're all offering takeaway services. So because of that, you can drop something in if you're getting a takeaway. And then out in Houston, we have Houston Village Paper Shop, which is on North Street, and then in Elderslie we've got Jim's Food and Wine. So again, they're local shops that people are, in for their bits and bobs. And again, we're just encouraging people to only go if it's an essential trip. Items that we're short on is really things for boys aged 11 plus. Teenage girls' makeup, nice pajamas, fluffy socks, things like that are quite easy. But for the boys, we're struggling. As of yesterday, we completely ran out of, like link sets or aftershave, body wash for guys, things like that. And we're completely out of male clothing as well. So yeah, anything really 11 plus for a boy is really appreciated.
Well, that's I never thought of that, Lauren, that giving young guys links would be something that you would be looking for, but of course it is. Yeah,
I mean, the girls are, that sounds terrible, but the girls are a bit easier when it's that age because a lot of them are into makeup and, things like that. So that's really, it's quite simple for us to put a pack together, but the boys do seem to be significantly lacking once you hit kind of, that awkward 11, 12 age and then upwards.
Yeah. And Gary, I practice karate. I have done since the age of 9. And yeah, absolutely. Watch out, Gary. And one of the Christmases, I must have got 4 or 5 High Karate box sets. If you can remember High Karate, that was a predecessor, Lauren, to Lynx Africa. It was High Karate. It was miserable.
Everything comes back though, Andy. I'll go full circle.
Before my time.
Yeah,
there you go. Lauren, I was going to say, the simplest way of helping you must be just to put money in your PayPal account.
That's right, and we've also got our bank details up as well, and that just, the PayPal's linked to the bank account, so it doesn't really make a difference, to be honest. But obviously not everyone has PayPal, so that's up there. It's a business bank account, so either way, it doesn't make a difference.
Andy, are you able to find it?
I'm busy. I'm Googling as we speak. I try and do my best.
Go onto the Facebook page. I've changed the pin post at the top. So what I've done is the pin post is now just the drop-off points that open within tier 4. And I'm sure our bank details are on there.
So what's your PayPal account, Lauren, for our radio listeners?
It's RCTB, just standing for Renfrewshire Christmas Toy Bank. So RCTB 2018 @hotmail.com. And it just comes up with my own name because it's my name that's linked to the business bank account. And then, it just goes in that way. And
no limit to what people can donate. Just if you can afford and you want to donate and you want to help others.
Yeah, of course. I mean, honestly, a couple of pounds, it makes such a big difference. That could be the difference from us having no selection boxes to having 2 selection boxes. Every penny helps. Yeah.
Well, that's good to know.
Getting the details up now.
You get that on the screen, Andy, and I'll read it out as well. And so there we go. Facebook, Renfrewshire Christmas Toy Bank. Donate at paypal.com. PayPal me, Renfrewshire CTB. Is that right, Lauren?
It must be if that's the link.
That's what Andy's put up.
But if you want to do it if you log into PayPal, you can send it just via the email address. Or if you go on the Facebook page, the link just takes you straight to it as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's another easy way to help others, and knowing that young guys could be doing with a spray and some antiperspirant.
Yeah.
Maybe even some talcum.
And just to confirm, Lauren, you're only looking for new products. It's not a second-hand, used type of thing. It's new gifts that you're looking for.
That's something we get asked quite a lot, and I'm quite an eco-friendly person, and I would love to take second-hand items, but it's an absolute minefield when it comes to trading standards, because then we don't have the address on the packaging. We then become the distributor of that, and if anything goes wrong, it's us that's liable. And also, I just think it's nice for the children to have something new and, take ownership of their gifts and, take good care of them and know that it's theirs from Santa, the same as their peers.
Yeah. Is there a question came in earlier, Lauren, and I've been thinking about this in context with giving something back to the local economy. Are there any local traders that you would recommend that have got certain things?
Yeah, of course. So we actually got some money given to us. I've not done a Facebook post about this yet because I'm waiting on a couple of images coming through. we got some money from some local Renfrewshire businesses who would like to remain anonymous, but they all came together. And what I thought I would do with that was give that money back into the local community. So we've bought gift cards for some local beauticians. We've bought gift cards for some local cafes as well. Once the barbers are back up and running, I'm going to buy some for a barber as well. So gift cards like that for like getting your hair trimmed or your nails done, or a guy getting a haircut, they're all fantastic. Other local shops are like Ivid Gifts down across from the Abbey. They've got lovely wee pieces of jewellery and things like that. Anything really, nothing's going to go to waste. And even like White Cart Gift Company, they've got lovely bits of jewellery and even coasters and some wee home things, because some of the children that we support are over 16 and living by themselves.
Yeah, and a couple of other questions that came in. One of them was, are you looking for these items to be gift wrapped? But I'm guessing probably not, so you know what they are.
Yeah.
Yep. And the other question was, we're 25th of November today, so we're 1 month away for Christmas. What's your deadline that you're working to, Lauren?
So that's something that we were discussing today with the board from the Toy Bank, and it's looking like it's going to be the first week in December. And I appreciate that that's quite soon, but there's a lot of reasoning behind that. So like you're saying, can things be gift wrapped? The answer is no. If that happens, we do have to unwrap it, because everything gets sprayed with a disinfectant and we check it against trading standards.
Yep.
But also now what's happening is we're quarantining items, and that's why it needs to be earlier this year, because what's happening, as much as we quarantine them, a lot of the organisations are also doing that.
Yeah, of course. No, that makes absolute
that's understandable. And books, Lauren, there's a few bookshops in Paisley. Is that good to kids' books, teenager books?
Definitely. Books are always really appreciated. That's something we try and give in every pack as well as a book. So yeah, very much appreciated.
So from me thinking, actually, in the lead up to this, where is there locally that you can buy toys to give to the Renfrewshire Christmas Toy Bank? And scratching my head a wee bit, there's not many toy shops in Paisley. There's a plethora of traders in Paisley that you could support.
Yep,
vouchers.
and Bishopton as well. Bishopton Toy Shop.
So in and around Renfrewshire, there's loads of traders. Pop into a trader, buy a voucher, buy a gift, buy a toiletry set, all of those small knick-knack things. I remember when I was younger, we get lottery tickets. Would you welcome lottery tickets?
Probably not, because it's to do with gambling and addiction services and that sort of stuff. So alcohol, gambling, anything like that, it's not something we would probably take.
Okay.
It would be something, if we got, we would need to speak to whoever we were given to make sure that was going to a family that wouldn't trigger anything.
And Lauren, I guess we just, in terms of moving on in the programme, it's not just you. You've got a team of people, which I guess you owe a huge amount of thanks to every year, Lauren.
Oh, definitely. I mean, this is a year with so many people come forward to volunteer, and that has been overwhelming. And thank you to everyone who's offered to do that. But unfortunately, this year it's just not been possible because of the restrictions. But I would like to say, if you don't mind me taking a wee minute, is to say thank you to Lorna. So Lorna's the treasurer, and she has been driving about like a crazy lady here, there, and everywhere to pick up all your amazing donations. Lorna's also in charge of our Amazon wish list. I control all the technical side of it. Lorna and her husband do all the unpacking. They take all the cardboard to the dump and recycle it. They're going above and beyond. So Lorna's husband Tommy, as much as he's not a volunteer, he definitely is. And Sheila as well. Sheila has just again been doing loads of driving. She's been helping in the unit, and we've also had a lot of new volunteers as well as old ones. So we've had Leslie, we've had Caroline, we've had Mary, we've had Fiona. So I'm missing people, Claire. I hope I've not missed. I have missed people, but yeah, thank you, because I can't believe. I still find it hard to believe that people feel so passionately the way I do and are willing to give their time.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, that's great, and it's good that you recognise your team, but you're leading it, Lauren. So fantastically well done, really well done for what you do. And just to close this segment of the show, where can people volunteer, donate, find out all about that, and your social media?
So I just have Facebook at the moment. Next year, one of my wee ones will be going to nursery, so I'll have a wee bit more time and I might do a bit more social media. But yeah, everything goes on Facebook, and we do try and get as much in the newspapers as we can just to promote that way. And then just through word of mouth and posters. So yeah, our Facebook, Register Christmas Toy Bank, I try and do 2 posts a day just to keep everyone updated. And I've decided that I'm going to do a weekly video update as well now.
Oh, fantastic. You're doing such a wonderful job, Lauren. You're going to be super busy over the next couple of weeks.
Yep.
Everyone that's watching, I'm sure they'll be digging deep to help out. So hope it's a great success, and ultimately for those in need that will be receiving as a result of your activity, I'm sure they will be hugely thankful. Lauren, thanks so much for coming on the programme.
Thanks very much.
Thank you. Hang around, Lauren.
Well done.
Yep, we're going to
Thank you.
stay
Thank
in
you,
the
Lauren.
back room.
As in inspirational, Andy, and the show is now ramping up from a steady start, inspirational start. Lauren and the work that she's doing is just fantastic.
Oh, it's great.
And countdown to Christmas wouldn't be the same, Andy, without Christmas lights.
This is true, Gary. This
Yeah.
is true.
And of course, we've missed the traditional Paisley Christmas lights. It's usually such a highlight in the events calendar.
Yeah. It's that event in itself. I mean, Paisley is blessed with a fantastic events team, and Renfrewshire is blessed with a fantastic events team. You know, we'll have Halloween festival, we'll have the fireworks, and then not long after that, we'll have the Paisley lights switch on. And when you see the numbers of people that come out in the town, Gary, it's just fantastic, isn't it?
It's stupendous, absolutely stupendous. And of course, we're missing that this year, Andy.
Yeah.
But so we want to move towards a crescendo, and normally Christmas light switch on is done by the residing provost, and this year is going to be no different because we're doing it. We're turning the lights on. Aren't we, Andy?
Well, I get the next provost, the next guest on, Provost Lorraine Cameron.
Not the next provost, the current provost, Andy. Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
I was thinking the next guest, and then I said the next provost, and it just came out a bit wrong. I was getting overly excited, Gary.
I know, and our resident provost.
Resident provost, welcome, Lorraine Cameron.
Don't worry, I don't even know who I am anymore.
They got that bad.
All the days are just melting into each other, and the weeks and the months. So, how are you both?
Great, Lorraine, and how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
Great to see you back in the show. I had second time today.
I actually think you're training me to step in as an emergency host if one of you go off sick. You've had me that often.
Listen, that's not a bad idea, Lorraine. I'll show you how to work all the buttons this side, and you can go for it.
Oh goodness, I don't know if that would be a good idea, but hey ho, we could try.
Yeah, that would be interesting to see how we'll end up doing the musical thing, Andy. That you.
Oh, I will. Well, we'll be moving about the screen and everything. It'll all be great. But Lorraine, I think this is the third time you've been on the show.
Yeah,
it's fantastic to see you again, and I'm really surprised.
I love that you asked me to come on. I mean, what's not to love? Because of this, we're getting to showcase all the brilliant things that go on in Renfrewshire, and all the wonderful people that we have, the organisations that we have. You know, that I'm absolutely certain that there's a lot of people and organisations that have been connected because of the people watching, and you've got your regular fans of the show who without fail turn up every Wednesday night. It's really great. I love it.
Yeah.
That's great. It's great, Lorraine. And it's great to see you on the show. We know that any time that we've got something important, that you're there, just ready and willing to sit in your room and watch us through your camera and communicate with us. We know that. We know that. It's great. Yeah. But of course, tonight's all about Christmas lights, and we've been having a bit of a reflective time looking back in old Christmas lights. Before we get to this year's Christmas lights, and we'd like to just reflect ever so slightly on what it used to be like when we used to go up the cross. I don't remember ever there being a Christmas light switch on. They used to just come on.
That's right.
And, you remember that used to go up and they were just there.
Yeah.
And we've got
somebody would just say, "Oh, the lights are on," and then your parents would take a wee trip into the town, take you to the wee lights. Yeah, it was lovely.
Well, listen, we've got a wee video that we're going to show right now, Lorraine, and someone had posted this up on Facebook the other week, and it caught our eye. I think it was maybe Mags McGee that had posted it, and it's again, it's from the archive. So if you bear with me a moment while I click some switches, and hopefully my screen will appear, and I'll actually put that full screen. So we'll have a wee look at this for now, and remember the days of black and white.
Oh.
I remember that, Andy. That's that one I was talking about. On earth, peace, goodwill toward men. Only toward men. You're not actually getting it. You're just moving it towards you. and women aren't getting it.
They're getting nothing, Gary. Look at that over the cart.
And that they bulbs have not been changed in 30 years.
Oh, probably not.
Yeah.
Probably not. There's no sound on this, folks, in case you're wondering. I know we've had a few sound issues.
There's a dodgy one. Quick, move on.
I know that's a kind of strange shape, that one, isn't it?
Do you remember the peacocks at the Abbey and the?
I think we've got the peacock and the windmill.
Oh, really? Oh, the windmill's there.
Yeah, the peacock. That's
the one light I remember from when I was little.
I know. Goodwill toward men.
That brings back memories, and of course we were chatting to Tom earlier on, and Tom was saying that he actually thought Santa Claus stayed down in that area. That's where Santa Claus was actually. I'm looking at Tom.
He stayed in the Abbey, didn't you know that?
He did.
Oh, he stayed in the Abbey. Look at there's those. There we go.
Isn't that a cracking wee video?
That's great. I
find that hilarious.
That's amazing.
I find that hilarious. Goodwill toward men.
I was talking to someone maybe just a few months ago, and I was telling them about the one light I could really remember was the peacock, and the person laughed at me. Why would you have a peacock on a Christmas, display? I was like, well, I don't really know, but it was there. I'm sure it was there.
It's actually a fair comment. Why would you have a peacock at a Christmas display?
It's a bit of an odd one, but Christmas over the years in Paisley has really, really changed. And as I was saying earlier, we're really spoiled with what Christmas is all about. And we've got some images that we'll just kind of go through. We won't be able to. Well, we'll get through as many of them, but it's just to kind of reminisce and what Paisley has provided, there in all his glory. Santa Claus with all of his reindeers, I'm sure, going through the town.
They're relatively recent. I mean, there's yourself, Lorraine, so it must be a fairly recent one.
Yeah, that was last year.
It's good to see that Dickie Attenborough's getting a bit of kind of work in the festive period as Santa Claus. I suppose he was Kris Kringle and Miracle on 34th Street, wasn't he? But that was just before the big plunger was pushed that year. And of course, when they do that, it all kicks off.
Yeah,
look at that. I mean, look at the crowds and the people, and
honestly, it's the most wonderful feeling being in the town on that night. And I think most people would agree. And yet, I actually remember the very first big scale event that we put on to switch on the lights, and we were in the council. We were so worried that we would spend all that money putting on an event and possibly people wouldn't come. But how wrong we were. It's been a huge success.
Yeah, it was a masterstroke, Lorraine. I remember it was it the fireworks that moved from Seed Hill into the town centre, and then the town centre became what it is.
Yeah.
And look at that image there. That's just, I don't know who took this one, but that's just look how good the Abbey looks, and the way that all those trees are dressed in the Christmas lights. And of course, it's not just about the lights, because the events team put on a fantastic evening's entertainment for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
So this was one. Gary, you sent me that image through earlier on. I'm sure that's Piericini on bass there, Gary, is it not?
That is Piero on bass. He turns his hand to most things. Any time there's a gig, Piero's there.
Well, you know, Piero turns up here, there, and everywhere, so it could be.
Yeah, and courtesy of the events team, thanks very much to the Renfrewshire Council events team for sending us these pictures on.
They're great pictures, yeah.
But
Aren't they
it's great.
fantastic?
Reggie and Bowley.
Reggie and Bowley, that was it, yeah.
I tell you what, we watched them. We were down that year, and they had everybody bouncing. It was absolutely fantastic.
What's the thing, Andy? What does it go like?
Oh, I can't remember, Gary. Have you not got it in vinyl, Gary?
I wouldn't think so. No.
out of all the people who have performed at our lights switching on ceremony, I think my favourite was Ruth Lorenzo. And I don't know if any of you heard her sing that night.
Was she good?
Out of this world. She was amazing. She just blew everyone away. She was so good.
Did she do a Purple Rain?
Yes.
Yeah. I remember her.
Too.
I remember, stunning looking lady and brilliant voice.
Yeah, she sounded even better though live than she did when she was on the TV show.
Yeah,
which was a real surprise to me, because I thought she was amazing on TV. So when I actually heard her, I just could not believe how good she was. I think she was my favourite out of everyone.
Yeah, we went down. One that I remember was Ollie Murs, and he was really, really good. I know there was some technical problems with the power or whatever it was, but you know, when he got going, he was brilliant, and he was Superstition. Stevie Wonder, he pulled that one out, which was one of the ones that he had on X Factor. And again, I mean, the town was bursting at the seams.
I don't know if you remember, Andy, that year there was a bit of a political spat about how much money had been spent putting on the big display that year. And
all right.
He ended up feeling so bad that he gave his money away to a local charity. I think
I remember that.
Businesses.
I remember that. Aye, all the mud getting embarrassed, didn't you?
Money for every year.
We've had some great comments in on social media, and of course we saw this image a little bit earlier on that we were talking about the peacock, but actually, and given tomorrow's Thanksgiving in the States, Tracy, maybe it was a turkey.
Maybe it was a turkey.
Yeah, there's a couple of people who have said that. There's John McIntyre. It was Paisley's turkey. Just looked like a peacock.
So I'm a turkey for thinking it was a peacock then.
I thought it was a peacock.
Well, I thought it was a peacock as well. So yeah, it was. It's obviously a turkey. Then there you go.
Yeah, oh, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. Great to know that. And of course, the highlight and the end point of Christmas lights switch on day is switching on Christmas lights. And you always say a few words, Lorraine, don't you, just to give a message out to everyone. But before you do that for us this evening and turn on the lights, let's get everyone back into the studio.
Yeah, so let's get everyone back in. We've got Tom, we've got Lauren, we've got Stephen, and I'm going to sort of try and work some magic here.
Hi there, hi Lorraine.
Lorraine, you're front and centre, Lorraine. So hopefully we're all side by side here in support. So I guess Lorraine, you've got a message, and then at the end of that message, you're going to press a button. And we're going to have the Christmas lights switch on.
Well, I think that it's hard to follow these guys, the guests that you've already had on tonight, and they made so many brilliant positive contributions about how people are feeling right now, about what's been happening. And I think, you know, in the last few months, we've seen everyone putting their differences aside to help the people who needed extra support, and there were no politics, race or religion involved, and decision makers all came together, no matter what their party affiliation was, to organise and plan the biggest community movement that probably we have ever seen and are likely to see in the near future. And what I would like to see everyone do is take that community spirit that we saw in the last few months and use it to get behind organisations like Paisley Community Trust, like the St Mirren Charitable Foundation, the Star Project. There's so many I could go on. I don't want to miss anyone out. I'm just giving those as a wee example, and to just say, look what we could do if we do it all together, and how much more we could achieve. And I don't want to sound cheesy when I'm saying this, you know, but we've proved since March, I think, what we can do, and how we can mobilise to make a difference to the people who need it and to all of our communities, and to let's go into 2021 with a positive attitude. And that can-do approach that we know fine well exists in Renfrewshire and Paisley and all the people that live here. And the outlook is good regarding us having a vaccine and hopefully quite soon, and we can get our lives back to a wee bit of normality. I think we can approach life with a renewed vigour, and I think, you know, I hope that we're going to have a new appreciation for things that we didn't appreciate before, or we have forgotten, you know, that were important to us. The things that really do matter in our lives, like our families and our friends, because you don't appreciate actually what you've got until you've had to go without it for a wee while. And I think a lot of us will be doing things very differently from now on. My dog's just walked in, just licking my feet, trying to. So, I mean, I think I want to finish by saying, you know, to look after each other, to try and be happy despite all the pressures that are on us right now. And there are a lot of people. We've touched on it tonight about the mental health situation. But I want us to kind of stop and think about the joy that we're going to feel and we're going to experience when we can finally gather again in numbers with our friends, with our families, you know, and I can go around hugging people again. That's what I really miss. So be safe and sensible. And finally, I just want to this is a very important point, and one that I think sometimes we underplay. We moan about our town centres, we moan about our shops, we moan about not having the shops, but we do have a lot of shops in our town centres. To shop local, to give them support, whether you live in Houston, Renfrew or Johnson or Paisley, it doesn't matter. Try and support them. And even though a lot of the shops are shut right now, they're doing pick-up services or delivery services, so you can access, you know, a lot of what you need for your Christmas gifts, and support all the organisations that are trying to help the people that are needy in our community. And I know that Gary's a bit bah humbug, and I don't care if this is only the countdown to Christmas, because I'm putting my hat on. And I really hope everybody has a nice Christmas as much as they can, and let's look forward to next year and get our minds together and, you know, get everything behind all of the brilliant organisations in our community.
Brilliant. And are you ready to push that big button in front of you for this video?
Right, you ready? Will I go?
Yeah, 3, 2, 1.
Go.
Oh, that wasn't that fantastic. Enough to make you great.
That's put me right.
Oh,
in the mood.
enough to get you into the Christmas spirit, Gary.
I'm in the spirit, Andy. I'll tell you what. If I can get this to happen.
Gary's got the lights.
That's what you-
Fantastic.
I'm in the spirit. The spirit's happened. I've changed my tune.
Oh, great stuff.
Great comments coming in on social media. So we'll just put some of them up for you. The message provost is going down very well.
Oh.
Great.
Yeah, that was terrific, and everyone inspirational. I'm inspired every week by our guests and people coming on and telling their story and putting their slant on what they do. And tonight has been one of the best. Thank you, everyone, so much for coming on. Paisley Community's countdown to Christmas. Let's hope the next 4 weeks we can all be safe and we all have a nice time over Christmas. But thanks again, everyone.
Right, folks, we'll see you soon. Cheers.
Happy Christmas.
Thanks very much.
Happy
Bye.
Christmas.
Bye.
Oh, fantastic. How good was that, Gary?
Wasn't that great?
And there's I can't keep up with all of the messages that are coming in on social media. Geez, there's just too many of them. Just really too many of them. Fantastic.
And just a couple of points, Andy. Thank you to Renfrewshire Council and Brick Lane Media for pulling that video together for us, and to Piero on keyboards.
I thought he was playing bass.
No, changed on the keyboard.
Oh, it was excellent, absolutely excellent, Gary. What a show tonight! And do you know what? I was drinking out my Christmas mug earlier. Usually I'm kind of middle December before we get into the Christmas spirit, but that's set everybody up in Paisley and Renfrewshire. Some fantastic guests on this evening, and just a wonderful, inspirational message. And great to see the Christmas lights being switched back on.
Yeah, I was going to say, Andy, we're running the wrong way.
I know. I was feeling that. I was feeling all weird there, Gary, in the wrong side of you.
I know, but it was great. It was really good to see Christmas lights and actually Paisley showcased in a way that is maybe not normal, and you can see in and around the town and the different aspects of it, and for our overseas viewers who may not know much about Paisley, that's some of Paisley in the slightly subdued times, but it looks fantastic in the lights, Andy, doesn't it?
Gary, we know that we've got Elizabeth, who's a regular viewer from Chicago, but we're now conquering the Big Apple.
Fantastic, international, Andy.
How good is that? Paisley broadcasting to the world, and you've just seen Paisley at its finest. The Christmas lights coming on in the town. When we can do that in person, what a party, what an atmosphere. It's brilliant.
Yeah,
what a great show we've had tonight, Gary. It's, each week we always say, geez, that was the best yet, and they just get better and better. And as we've always said, Gary, it's the guests that make the show. We learn so much. We share so many great kind of stories and examples, and we entertain, and it's just wonderful.
Okay, it's great. I mean, we did want it to be a slightly different show tonight, and not all glitzy and happy. I'm all for that, but it's important, of course. It's important, Andy, that those that need a wee hand, a wee helping hand, that we're there to give them a wee leg up. And hopefully, we've done that justice tonight, Andy. Another brilliant show.
Great show.
It's a fantastic. Loved it.
So next week, Gary, we're actually in December next week, are we not?
2nd of December, yes.
2nd of December. What have you got cooking for the 2nd of December, Gary?
All lined up, Andy. We've got a literature come writing come screenplay type show next week.
Wow.
And we're first ever international guest.
So we've got an international guest on as well, Gary. That is going to be some show. Looking forward to it. Great. Well, listen, I think, Gary, our work here is done. That's 9:30. So I think it's time that we wound the show up and say goodnight to everyone.
Yeah, my tea's out, Andy. So thanks everyone for tuning in to our Christmas countdown special. It's been great. And good night from me.
Good night, folks. Good night.
Good night.